Hi everyone, it's Christy. Welcome back. We're doing Frugal February, so we're looking at 28 different household items you can use in your junk journal. Today we're going to look at cheesecloth. If you don't have cheesecloth, another alternative is gauze. So look in your medical kit, see if you have any gauze laying around that you're not using. Cheesecloth or gauze, they're both going to be about the same thing, a very loose, meshy, just fabric that you can use in a variety of ways. And we're going to use it as a backdrop to some artwork. Kind of marked a couple pages here. Let me remember which one I'm going to do which thing on. Okay, this one, I have this lovely pink page and this little balloon girl. I'll show you up close. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. Just something a digital image I printed out. That post-it note was just there to mark my place. So I thought it would be kind of fun because this page is smaller and to have kind of a peekaboo item, so when you open it up that it would be just kind of a pleasant surprise. And I thought, well, why don't we put some cheesecloth underneath it to give it some texture and amp it up a little bit. Let's see. Grab my fabric scissors here. And let's go with, a little cheesecloth goes a long way because it's kind of stretchy and so forth. I'm going to just snip off just a section and we'll see how that goes. You can stretch it out, you can scrunch it up, whatever you want. Just no real right or wrong with it, and kind of play with it a couple different directions maybe and see. Might even kind of fold it up a little bit, give it a little more. Kind of depends how much do you want it to overhang around the picture. And that's getting close to something I would like. Yeah. So I'm actually not going to glue the cheesecloth to the paper because once I put some glue on here, it'll glue through the very loose mesh there. But I am going to use Fabrifix glue. It's just a clear silicone glue. And before I do that, I'm going to take a little drink because I'm getting a tickle in my throat. Okay. A furnace is running all the time, so that just gives me kind of a dry throat all the time. Okay. And I think I want her at a little bit of a cockeyed angle here. And I'm just going to press down for a few seconds just to make sure it's well adhered. All right. So there, as you can see, we have some little texture overhanging around the picture. Just gives it a little nice extra, a flourish, if you will. And again, it's going to be nicely hidden behind this, so when someone flips that open, it's like, oh, look at that. Okay, I apologize, my junk journal jewelry is a little bit loud. So I marked another place, and this one we're going to do it actually on the little book page itself. And let me decide which one of these I want to use. I'll use the little one, I think. I'm going to cap the glue for a minute because I want to show you a different trick before I start gluing things down. Okay. Now, cheesecloth, as you probably know, comes in white generally. You can buy colored cheesecloth, but if you get it, especially at if you go to a craft store, you can probably buy colored cheesecloth. But if at the grocery store or whatever, you're going to get white. So one of the ways you can change it up is to change the color of your cheesecloth. So I'm just going to snip off another snippet of cheesecloth. And I'm going to grab my stamp pad and I'm going to actually because I want, oops, tripped over my chair. Because I want this to be really juicy, I'm going to use this to dye the cheesecloth. So I'm going to just squirt some water on here, just so that it's really, really liquidy. And I'm going to kind of just wad the cheesecloth up a little bit to make it like a dauber. And just kind of, you can see that cheesecloth is just really soaking that up. Just kind of roll it around. Doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be, you know, every square inch. I'm going to straighten it out and then kind of grab a different spot to kind of rub in it a little bit. Okay, that's probably good enough, I would think. So close my stamp pad, open that back up, and that kind of just is going to give it a little bit, see, it's going to just, already you can see that that stands out on the paper more. So I'm going to just kind of shape it a little bit, just work with your cheesecloth and get it kind of in a desirable shape. Figure out kind of how you want it to lay in relation to your whatever you're putting on top of it. And you know what, I got one side here that's brown and one side that's white, so I'm gonna just dab it just a little bit more. Okay, see if that evens it out a little bit. Just keep playing with it until it's, you know, suits your style preference. Okay, there we go. I'm kind of liking that. Now, do I want it straight up or kind of angled? Everything else on the page is squared up, so I think because everything else you see all the vertical and horizontal lines here, I'm going to make this one a little at an angle just to change up the visual. Okay, so back to the Fabrifix. Gonna glue back of the card. I'm applying a little bit more glue than I otherwise would because I want it to be juicy enough to soak through the, and I maybe didn't get that quite how I wanted. There we go. You want it to have enough glue on it to soak through that little bit of cheesecloth and adhere to the paper. Okay, I'm going to kind of fluff this a little bit because I maybe didn't get it quite centered how I wanted, so let's just kind of play with it a little bit. Yeah, I wanted a little bit more out of the top, but that's okay. So there, just adding a little, darkening it up, because there wasn't going to be a lot of contrast with the white cheesecloth on the ivory colored page. So I just darkened the cheesecloth so it adds a little bit of color along with the texture. On the white one, the white cheesecloth, it showed up, it's provided contrast because I've had it on the pink background. But this one, the white wouldn't really stand out, so that's why I darkened it. You can obviously do that with any color. You don't have to use brown. Pink and brown just happen to be the colors I'm using for this journal, for the most part. And so I thought I'd just show you how you can change the color on your cheesecloth when you're wanting to try new things. So with that, I think we'll wrap it there. A couple of ideas for you to use cheesecloth or gauze, whichever you have on hand. And if you don't have either of those, just use a little scrunch of fabric, whatever, you know, cut the hem off of an old shirt or something that you don't wear. Just use whatever you have. Shop at home and play with what you got. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. God bless you. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.